Adventures of Fishman Island.
That's what we're doing, Joe, as we start Volume 63.
What?
We out
What?
here.
I'm joined here by Joe and Bradley, and we're going to be discussing Volume 63, which I ended up taking like 50 something pictures from this arc because there was just so many good either visuals or story beats to touch upon. The first of
Dude.
which was this conversation with Hachi and Hody.
Mm-hmm.
In this conversation, Hachi's basically berating Hody. It's kind of funny. He comes off as like a has-been to them. He's got like the street cred of being part of the Sun Pirates and the Arlong Pirates, but they don't seem to respect
Yeah.
them very much.
Man, fucking Hachi's come so far. Like, henchman of a bad guy from one arc near the beginning who was defeated relatively easily.
Yeah.
And, like, now he just got, like, Mondo street cred within the story.
Mondo street cred.
Mucho cred, baby.
Got a great character arc. He went to being part of a racist gang to realizing that he was wrong the entire time.
It's a true rag to bitches story.
Yeah.
Rag the bitches. I do want to bring up a commenter who left behind a comment where it's like, Zoro doesn't remember Hachi's sword style because he literally never landed any slashing attacks on Zoro.
Oh my god.
Something about the dialogue was like, Zoro basically like, Zoro, do you remember my awesome six sword style? And Zoro's like, nope, not really.
And I love, because, like, I feel like this must be, like, at the very least, the second and maybe the third character that they're like, oh, Zoro, do you remember me? And he's just like, nope.
There was definitely Helmeppo too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that I think the only thing he did to Zoro was headbutt his wounds. So
Oh my god.
not very swordsman-y. But yeah, Hody clearly like Hachi can walk in here, but Hody's not really having it. Hachi's like, don't do drugs, they're bad.
Yeah.
Hody's like, fuck them humans. And he considers himself Arlong's successor, so that should tell us that things aren't gonna go like. Yeah, he's gonna be a not very nice kind of person.
Yeah.
In general, there's just some good conflicts between the new generation.
It's like
and
saying,
the
I'm
old
going to be Hitler's successor, you know? It's
Yeah.
like, oh, that's not a very good thing to be.
That's not very good.
That panel I think happened before.
No, this is next because this is where Vanderdecken shows off his fruit in a very cool way.
Yeah.
Throws the
Yeah.
knife behind him and it curves back.
Dude, it is really cool.
Literally stab him in the back.
I'm trying to remember.
And man,
As long as the legacy of Arlong lives on, I can't go see them. I think that's in reference to the Straw Hats, right? He's like, I can't face them eye to eye as long as like Arlong's influence is still in this island.
Yeah. Yeah.
and man, so we all play League of Legends more than we should, and sometimes it's fun to think about, like, hey, if there was a One Piece MOBA, what would their movesets look like?
Man,
And I think Vanderdecken was a character that I think, at the very least, me and Joe had a lot of fun with thinking about what he would do.
It's hard to comprehend. I feel like he'd be a really skillful like ability power champion where like he's a melee champion, but all of his abilities are like range based.
Ooh.
I think he has an ability where he touches you and locks onto you, and then he
Yeah.
Because I
throws.
was thinking,
And then I think he throws axes and stuff and knives, but you can dodge them last second. Like they're skill shots that will always lock on to a champion, and then you have to just always be moving, I guess, for a time.
because
period.
I was like, the last two enemies that you auto-attacked, your ultimate is like a global heat-seeking attack against them. And what
Yeah.
you can do is, like, one of your buttons, maybe you could toggle your glove on and off so you don't, like, mark someone you don't want to hit with that. I don't know.
Mechanics. When's that Shonen Jump or One Piece MOBA coming out, huh?
Oh, that'd be so cool.
We're still waiting on Pokemon, so
I know, dude, I'm sorry for the Pokemon one.
here we so we see here what happened to Hachi. He tried to get away. Like, this looks fucking brutal, dude. He makes a little bit of
Yeah.
a distance before he just gets nailed. The thing is, he gets nailed and still makes it to Sanji, so he kept going.
And man, you cannot escape this shit.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Shirahoshi, like, and we get to see, like, this is why Shirahoshi is always in danger, because, like, his power is kind of absolute.
Yeah, like she can't ever leave. Even if she was on the other side of the world, I feel like these things would just go up in the fucking sky, circle around, and
Yeah.
find their
What
way.
a perfect ability to give the stalker character of the story. Because, like,
Yeah.
this line, my love and my missiles will follow their targets, like, he considers that his love. Like, it's so twisted and gross, but it encapsulates into a pretty interesting antagonist here.
God, and he
I
hasn't watched.
my hand.
Just imagine how stinky that hand could be.
Yeah.
Always in that glove, too. That's just gross. Oh my god, this is so fucking cute.
I know,
She
she
said
loves it.
Megalo is just the best. This is the
Because how many years has it been since she got to leave her fucking room?
10 years ago.
Yeah.
That's what the director said.
Jesus.
She just looks happy to be here. Luffy just
Yeah.
always bullying her. But she wants to go visit a certain grave of a certain Queen Otohime. Well, we get the inference that it's Otohime because we see Jimbei here at the grave. And
Yeah.
none of us have forgotten your ideals, Queen Otohime. We'll learn a little bit more about those as we go on with the volume.
Weird way to spell Martin Luther King.
Yeah.
Something about this SBS. I found notes.
Something about it.
Okay, this Makino baby thing. I threw it out as Ace when we were talking about it earlier. This is totally Ace's child. There's no way it's not.
Yeah, right?
It has to be. Makino just suddenly has a baby. Noda's like, oh, don't worry, it's not hers though. Dude, Ace and the Milk Girl had a baby. And then
Wait, Makino is the milk girl, right?
No, the Milk Girl from the SBS, or no, from the cover pages. That's the mother. Makino's out of Ace's league. What do you think this is?
Well,
No, it says Makino's become a mother.
that's Makino's baby, though, right?
Yeah, that's what it says.
Because
Well,
the milk girl was
does-
on a different island, right?
It does mean that Makino has become a mother. I bet that guy's the well, okay, it doesn't say that she birthed the baby. It's that
Yeah, but
She's
is
a-
milk girl on that island, or
so
is she
my
somewhere else?
my theory to go Milk Girl is on another island, but Shanks or Garp arranged for the baby to grow up here like he did for Luffy, because that would be the lineage of Roger needs to be kept hidden still.
I am confident that Ace had a baby. I just don't know if that baby's the baby.
Then who's this baby's father? This can't be a throwaway.
Some fucking dude Makino laid? I don't know.
No. Makino would never.
No. Yeah, she's pure.
And look! We're well, I don't think this is that girl. No, this is the
No,
fucking,
it's not.
This is the Onigiri girl who saved Zoro. So this next sequence of
Oh yeah.
this next sequence of cover pages, I didn't take a picture of all of them, but I deeply love them as we get to see all of those East Blue characters that we know and love, and even
Yeah.
Southern characters in the post-time skip.
The last
And
one-
like a lot of these characters I had to look up because I didn't remember them, and then when I looked them up, I was like, "Oh my god, how could I forget? They were so good."
Yeah, this
Yeah.
is the little girl who gave the jelly donuts to Zoro. Sorry, Zolo.
I like that she has Luffy's wand poster behind the counter.
Yeah, it's pretty cute.
Mhm.
Well, this whole town is like down for Luffy. Like, Luffy saved this town of Morgan, and I feel like these are Marines that are like, hey, that guy's not too bad.
Yeah.
So, okay, this is the Eve tree from what I understood from this page. Isn't it ironic?
see it.
Here of all places, the blessed sun tree Eve allows the coral to flourish.
Yeah, so that's gotta be it, right?
No,
Or those corals.
It's talking about the coral. That's coral. The sunlight allows the coral to grow.
Then what is this
Well, there's-
big tree?
Well, there's coral that looks like coral at the bottom, and then there's trees that look like trees above the coral.
I
right?
would think these trees that look like trees are trees. Now, I know, bear with me. If it quacks like a duck. So hold on, let's read it. This is the so-called graveyard of ships. The currents bring all the sunken ships here. Isn't it ironic? Here of all places, the blessed sun tree Eve allows the coral to flourish and makes Fishman Island the fish and the whales gather. Here of all places, the blessed tree, sun tree Eve allows the coral to flourish. Well, Joe's looking up some. Careful not to spoil anything if this is not.
Yeah, I mean, I have no idea.
I
what's
figured
what.
when I was reading, I was like, oh, I didn't realize the sun tree Eve has been in the story before. But I guess this might not be it. I don't know.
I have no idea.
Anyways, Frankie wanted to go meet Tom's brother, and I completely forgot that he does. This is a character. If you show this character, if you post this character in the Reddit today, no one's gonna remember this guy exists.
No way, really?
I want to say this is the most forgotten significant character in One Piece.
He's kind of funny looking.
I swear to God, we put him in the nobody category in our tier list, Joe, because I didn't remember this guy exists in the story, not even a bit.
That's the thing, like, Willer remembers some characters that probably only appeared on one page, so if he doesn't remember this dude, like, there's a problem.
I was really young reading Fishman Island. I was not the man you know today.
Oh god.
I wasn't studying the story, I was consuming it, you know. It was a little different. But here's Den, dude, and he's a cool guy.
Yeah.
He reiterates the Fishman Jean situation. And I just love how Frankie gets to have this moment. I think more Straw Hats need little moments like this where they get to touch upon their past like this. I think this was a really good moment for Frankie.
Yeah.
And we get to see Big Boss Jimbei, but before that, we get the clarification about Chopper's hat, which is very important.
Yes. It's so good for Oda to do this, because people would be just devastated if Chopper didn't have his hat, you know?
Yeah, Dr. Hirola gave him that hat, so it'd be fucked up if Chopper is just like, well, I mean, isn't that kind of a burden? It's like, I gotta wear this hat my mom gave me forever.
It would almost be like Ash Ketchum risking his life repeatedly for this hat that's very dear to him, and then just getting rid of it one day.
He did, right?
Oh, wait. Yeah, he got rid of it.
Oof. Well, we're talking about good stories, not Pokemon. So here we have... why'd I take this one? Okay, this one is because of Nami realizing that she's seeing the Arlong tattoo and getting some minor PTSD of what these fishmen who carry Arlong's ideology can do to humans.
Yeah.
We also get to learn that Hody was part of the Royal Army at some point.
Yeah. What a guy.
And here we get to see the man himself. Like, the way that Hody sees the fishmen as oppressed, and, like, he sees what they're doing as just. And, like, this is the cruelty that humans deserve. I think this is, like, Arlong, but even more nuanced, you know? And we'll get to see especially why in the flashback sequences. But I think, like, all these cool things that Bradley said about Arlong and how Arlong can't even, like, he doesn't see himself as wrong because he just can't see the fishmen being inferior to these humans who have committed all these violence to them for years. Like, I feel like Hody is that, but double.
Yeah, because back whenever, you know, we got to see that side of Arlong, you know, I can accept it at face value that that's how Arlong feels. And that's without even having this knowledge of the history between fishmen and humans. Yeah. And, you know, now that we get this flashback in, you know, this volume and I think the next, it's just like so much deeper even because, you know, Hody's hatred of humans isn't baseless. He's seen them do so many horrible things to fishmen.
But at the same time, it's very generational, as we'll find out. But I just love how, like, Nami could fight Arlong in this current, like, she's probably stronger than Arlong by now. But the idea of, like, another Arlong is really getting to her, and I think that's a really good character moment. It's like, that trauma just doesn't go away, and I'm glad that Oda, he makes his characters a little too inhuman, like, too cool sometimes. And I feel like this is really human for Nami to be like, shit, man, like, seeing this rhetoric again is just very alarming to her.
For sure.
Yeah. So, do y'all want the answer?
Yeah.
Okay, so
let's do
it. What it's saying is that the light from
the Suntree
Eve is what allows the coral to grow more there. It's basically getting more sunlight than other parts. So
the Suntree Eve gives it sunlight.
Yes. That's not the sun. That's not the Suntree there. That's
then is that just trees? That's what's confusing. Is that there's trees in that page.
Coral. It's coral that looks like trees.
I don't believe you, sir. That's weird.
But the tree is supposed to be huge. It's like if you look at Fishman Island, there are two like trunk-looking things on the side of it, of the side
Those
of the bubble.
Those are the roots of the tree.
That's the roots of the tree. That's how big it is.
The tree then would be Marijoas then? Because it's Fishman Island and then there's Marijoas up top. and then the
Mhm.
roots reach all the way through the red line to Fishman Island at the bottom.
Correct.
Holy shit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Interesting.
Well, damn.
Then the tree is clearly important then, because like maybe that's part of the reason why the nobles hold so much power. It might have
Mhm.
something to do with that tree.
That's a big
Yeah.
motherfucking tree.
It
Now-
definitely is against the fishmen. Rest of the world,
This is a common theory, and I'll just bring it up now. Suntreat Vive, probably the tree that has all the devil fruits originally.
Fuck.
And it's the Eve tree. Eve ate the apple, the devil fruit. The devil fruit tree is the Eve tree.
It's the first tree.
Now, one thing I really like here, and it's kind of like moment breaking, but like, no way, Arlong. Just kidding, I've never eaten an Arlong. Yo, why are you kicking me,
Jesus.
Usopp? Brooke doesn't know. Brooke doesn't know the adventures we went through, man.
Goddamn.
You're a fucking newbie.
Yeah.
Also, like, Hodie's show of strength here is insane. Like, this is quite the feat. Just
Dude, his
casually-
grip.
He's not even trying very hard, and he's cracking parts of the castle with his grip.
And that's without the fucking steroids, right?
Yeah, I believe that's just base Hodie.
Jesus.
Strong boy. I really like here where King Neptune shields his people with his body from the water arrows.
What a dude.
What a man.
What a
And,
man.
okay.
What a fish man.
What I really liked about this section is that it's really the inverse of what Luffy did to Arlong. Do you remember when Luffy used a fishman to block Arlong's attack? And Arlong was extremely angry that he hurt one of his
Yeah.
own brothers. Here,
Oh,
Arlong 2.0 is using a fishman to block Zoro's attack and has no feelings about it any particular way. He's just doing it as a human shield. It just goes to show you that this is worse Arlong, and in a really cool callback that a lot of people might miss here.
Yeah, who would have thought like there could be a worse Arlong, you know?
Yeah, and here he is.
Here he is.
Man, Arlong is made so much better from this upcoming flashback. I was
It's
reading,
like, man, there are way meaner fishermen out there.
yeah.
I hate them.
Usopp has Stinky Flower.
yeah.
Stinky. Stinky.
This Zoro panel, though, this is just so badass.
Oh yeah.
Like, just Zoro going underwater to fight the strongest fishman, like, aside from maybe Jimbei that we've seen in the story, is pretty fucking cool.
And he doesn't hesitate neither.
Yeah.
He's just like, let's go.
Zoro is, down a clown in the post-time skip.
Oh,
Here
yeah.
we get Sanji getting accused for the caribou thing. That's just a nice little through line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm just like I just like Luffy showing like Hachi's his friend now. When they first met up, Hachi was not friend. Ever since the whole auction house thing, Hachi is friend and Luffy cares.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sanji seeing Shirahoshi turns him back to stone.
Yeah, like I just think that's so funny because it's like I don't know if she's so pretty that to Sanji it's just like Boa's there.
We'll just pretend like the Mero fruit had a little bit of a lingering effect on Sanji, and like next time he got horny, he also turned to stone. But I like how it's just like a plot point where like I believe in a couple pages Chopper's like, oh, Sanji was turned to stone a little bit ago. That's what happened. Like it happened. Sanji turned to stone. That's canon.
Yeah, like it's not just
it's
a
not a
one panel
gag.
gag. It's real.
He's got hearts coming out of him too.
God.
Vanderdecken coming in the coral's really cool, but I really like Shirahoshi's response to him.
You're not my type, and everyone's like, yeah,
That's the problem.
That's it.
Man, I just really love the motion of the jet hammer attack, but also hammer
Yeah.
is such a rare Luffy attack that it's just cool to see it again.
Y'all, this is some of my favorite motion in One Piece. I looked at that for so long. I thought it was so cool.
Oda is the master of the pre-panel like wind up, and
Yeah.
here like it's all a downward motion where you're going from up here and then the speed lines curve in to like meet where the axe is. Like they're curving in into where the axe is, and you see the impact.
God, it's so good.
Good job, Oda. Nami escaped. She wants to go meet Jimbei. Was there anything else important about this page?
Never.
Anyway, Zoro beats the arc villain in one hit. So this is kind of weird. This is kind of irregular.
I was like, damn, all right, let's go.
Not only did he beat him very easily, he beat him easily underwater, which is where fishmen are 10 times stronger.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So Zoro, the monster trio fluctuates a lot, and I feel like at this point, Oda's really portraying Zoro to be way above Sanji. That's the vibe I get as far as power.
Yeah.
I agree. So,
dude, I love this.
This is great.
Yeah. So, important thing to know about this is that these pictures are canon.
Yes.
Dude, how is 5-year-old Doflamingo somehow more Chad than like anyone else in the entire manga? He's so cool.
I got answers. Now what's cool about Crocodile there is that could still be a female. Crocomom's still on the table.
That's right. I forgot.
Yeah. Never forget Crocomom.
Crocomom is real.
I really like Moria here. This is really cute. Jimbei practicing Fishman karate. This dude fucks. But why does Mihawk look cool at all times?
No, he's the best.
Blackbeard's though is very interesting.
Yes.
Dude, Kuma looks like such a sweet boy.
Yeah.
And also Blackbeard is interesting because it's like, holy shit, what did he go through?
Because I feel like in all these other ones, like everyone is doing something here at least. Like Jinbei's getting his ass kicked, and Dracula Mihawk is still like he's still beaten up.
Yeah.
But they're practicing, like they are training.
Yeah.
Teach is having an emotional moment.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is that no one else has any other. I mean, Doflamingo has palm trees and the chair, but Teach has the moon up there, which I think is pretty interesting too.
Yeah.
Also, Joe, there's something missing from this picture. I feel like Oda has used this picture later than. We know this picture a little bit different from our discussions. The one we've seen has something near Teacher's feet.
Yeah.
But it's not. So did we make that up? Did we Mandela effect that or what?
Let me go find it.
Yeah, don't say it. Just message me later. Anyways, Ultramarine, what an attack!
Yeah, holy fuck.
So it's cool.
That's so cool.
Neptune's a fighter. We have not had a fighting king yet. Like we've had diplomatic leaders. We have Dalton, but Dalton wasn't a king when he was a fighter. He was a fighter and then became the king.
That's like a Teen Gohan level Kamehameha right there.
I know. Everyone's getting fucked over here. We get to the forest. We meet with Frankie. They introduce Shirahoshi. And I just love how Luffy fucking loves Jimbei. It's like, oh my god, Jinbei's here?
Oh, dude, they're fucking boys.
He's like, oh, Princess Shirahoshi, it's nice to see you. Princess Shirahoshi! Oh, Jimbei, your serious ass is taken into Straw Hat shenanigans now, baby.
Yeah, you can't escape now, boy.
Sanji has returned to his original self, so it's all uphill from here. But that hill is still a steep hill. It doesn't get much better, but like normal pervert Sanji is much better than Blood Fountain Sanji.
Yeah.
We get to see Luffy block another axe, but then we get to see Shirahoshi pray for her mother, which is just really cute when we know how this story played out before. She's never been to this grave, so she's never gotten to pay respects to her mother, so that's really sad. This is slowly leading us into the big flashback. Shenanigans are happening, but at this point, Jimbei is going to regale us with the story of Fishman Island.
And what a story it is.
The story of the Sun Pirates, which is where all the sun tattoos that they've been branded with comes into play. It's also, we already learned that I believe we learned that the sun tattoo was used to cover up the slave marks, or did we learn that this volume? I feel like it's come up before.
We already knew it. I'm trying to think of I think we might have learned it
from Boa.
No, I think
we learned it on Amazon Lily because Luffy saw their slave tattoos, and he's like, right? And he's like, what the fuck?
They knew about the slave tattoos, like we know that, but we didn't know about the Sun Pirate logo.
I think the way it played out is Luffy saw Boa's tattoo and was like, "Hey, that looks familiar." And then for a couple chapters, we don't get to see what it is. Then he sees it and he's like, "Oh, I got it mistaken with the tattoo that Hachi had." But I think we just now learned like why that sun tattoo is significant.
Because I don't remember being surprised. I feel like we knew it already, but I don't know.
Miller might have mentioned it.
Dude, Gaimon!
Gaimon has a girlfriend.
Let's go!
The
He ain't gonna get laid, though.
Sarfunkel.
Gaimon and Sarfunkel.
That's so good.
What's this all about? Okay, so they're trying to step on the picture of Otohime. This might be the chapter that I remember hating. I could be wrong. There's a chapter where they go through all of the Hody pirates. I was like, this feels redundant. If this is what I had in mind, I will apologize to Oda, because the point of this chapter is about them stepping on Shirahoshi's picture to show that they really hate the message that she was spreading back in the day.
Isn't it Otohime's picture?
Shit, sorry, Otohime's picture. My bad.
Yeah.
So this is a cool little flashback, and I'm glad that they're bringing this into the story of what Yosaku, or is that Johnny? I believe that's Yosaku, told them about Jimbei and how Jimbei released the terror that is Arlong into the oceans. And I absolutely love that Sanji is calling him out on it, and so is Nami. Like, I think it's really important that they call Jimbei out on this and figure out what actually is going on. And I very much like this is the first good Sanji moment we've had maybe in the entire post time skip where he's like, based on what you say, I may never forgive you, based on the story you're about to tell me. And then we get these flashbacks to Nami's backstory, which are just brutal. And like, Nami also really wants to hear what this answer is, because Jimbei might be a friend to Luffy, but there is no doubt that Jimbei is partially responsible for the pain that Nami went through for 10 years.
Yeah.
Yada yada. Okay, this one I really like. Sambodi Park being the reference for Arlong Park is just chef kiss. That's so good.
Yeah, I was like fucking...
It's kind of mind-blowing. I forgot about this detail completely.
Like, Arlong Park is a very, like, unique name. And, you always just wonder, like, oh, I wonder why it's called Arlong Park. And I'm like, God, he must have just known all the way back then, It's
possible, right? Or either that, or it's like, this is brilliant reverse story, like taking stuff in the past and building into it in a way we could have never expected.
I don't know. If I was naming an area, I'd be like, oh, Arlong Castle, or Arlong Village, but not Arlong Park, you know?
Arlong Park is pretty intentional, I feel.
The thing that throws it off, though, is that there's One Piece names are all weird. Impel Down, Thriller Bark.
I do feel you.
There's a lot of interesting Enies Lobby. Like, what the fuck is an Enies Lobby? Like, there's all these interesting names all throughout One Piece. So it could go either way. Either way, love it. And what this, like, it makes Arlong's crusade in the East Blue, like, he still had this childhood dream. Like, it's complex. Yeah. It's complex to put into words, but, like, he modeled his castle after the park that him and his friends wanted to go to as a kid but never could.
Yeah, like, I was just totally imagining this sad little chibi Arlong who's so sad that he can't go to this park where all these people have fun because of fucking fishman racism.
You mean this little silhouette right here? Sad chibi Arlong?
God.
Oh, man. Like, seeing him, Kurobi, and Hachi, and Shu look at the park, and then thinking that they built the park like that, that's just so interesting to me, man.
So there's one thing in that panel that's about that page is Nami mentions that before she got to the archipelago, she never even thought that the fishermen might have been persecuted by humans.
Yeah. I believe she gave us like hints of that a little bit, but it's cool to see like it all come together here where it's like my oppressors were oppressed, and that's a hard feeling for me to address.
Yeah, and I think that opens up a lot to this chapter and for the rest of One Piece. in this New World arc.
Yeah.
Uh,
This is infinitely more complex than anything in the pre-time skip. Like,
Yeah.
It seems like a very common thing between the fishmen and the humans where whenever there's like a human who hates fishmen or a fishman who hates humans, it's because like their only ever exposure to them was like the worst possible exposure. Like Nami never considered that fishmen could be anything but terrible to humans because she's like,
we'll put a pin
oh,
in that.
like,
Well,
yeah.
there's a panel that really highlights what you're saying as we roll into the flashback
Yeah,
a little
totally.
bit. We see here Whitebeard used to rule the island. So he was like one of the good humans to the fishmen.
God, he's
And
one of the good ones.
And here's Jimbei saying, on Fishman Island, 2 people tried to change the tragic history. One was Otohime, and the other was Fisher Tiger. Now, we've heard of Fisher Tiger briefly through Boa, and Luffy's
Yes.
over here commenting on it. And Arlong, Hachi, and Jimbei were all part of the Sun Pirates, which is where we get this reveal that they're all part of this cool pirate crew. And here we get to
Fisher
see
Tiger is a triple OG.
Yeah.
Oh yes. This one I just really like because like look how carrot, pepper, and onion have grown. My sweet
I know,
boys.
right?
Mm-hmm.
They beat up Michael Jackson that one arc with a shovel. This is such an incredible introduction to a character, man.
Oh yeah.
Like Otohime slapping the shit out of someone and then just crying and her hands throbbing in pain, and like what a character design too. I think this is like some of Oda's best work as far as
Wow.
like character design and introduction. I just love like she's a queen who will beat the shit out of you and then cry for you and really make like she cares for you very much and she makes that known. And then she
Very
smacks the shit out of the children because they're snotty noses.
Mm-hmm.
So immediately I care about this character. Can't wait to see what happens to her.
Oh no.
Here's young Arlong. At this point, he was just a pirate who attacks the ships nearby.
Yeah.
And here's Jimbei, who at this point is part of the Royal Army and looks... Yeah, and Arlong even notes, like, you don't look like a knight. You look more like a Yakuza or a Mafia man. God, young Jimbei looking pretty cool.
Hell yeah.
So the deal is all of these fishmen grew up in the slums where Fisher Tiger kind of took over, and they all respect him. And Fisher Tiger went out on a voyage and a journey, which we later learn is not quite as simple as that. But he comes back and he forms the Sun Pirates, of which all these characters that we know are in. So we got Arlong, we got Jimbei, we got Hachi, we got Kurobi up here, we got Chu over here. But also this guy... I believe we saw him in the Fishman or the Archipelago arc. He's the guy who kidnapped Cammy.
I think you're right.
So that's cool.
So, brother, you know that? Did you explain to him that the Sun Pirates is the Fishman Pirates? It's a translation difference.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, so they are called the Fishman Pirates in the Viz version, but a lot of people online know them as the Sun Pirates.
Oh, that's I just corrected Fishman to Sun in my mind every time I read this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think my brain just kind of used them interchangeably.
No, but Joe right here says the Sun Pirates of the Fishmen were formed.
Okay.
What you on?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I think the humans might know them as Fishman Pirates.
Maybe.
No, I think you're getting confused. The Fishman Pirates is Arlong's crew.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
Okay.
I thought they were the Arlong Pirates.
Yeah.
I believe they're the Fishman. No, because there's the new Fishman Pirates, which is led by Hammond. And
You're
Odin.
right. You're right.
So
Yeah.
when they were all unified under Fisher Tiger, they were the Sun Pirates. Yeah, and here the onslaught of like the Viz is calling them the Sun Pirates.
Okay.
It's a lot of names.
Good.
Their ship's
It's
pretty
a lot,
goofy. Here's young Borsalino, aka Kizaru.
Dude, Kizaru is so cool.
Adam Sandler looking ass. Here
I
less
love
so. I do like so this is an important part. Jimbei and Arlong were very violent in their youth. One of them is still violent. But Fisher Tiger was very against killing other humans because it's interesting. It's like a Malcolm X Martin Luther King fusion character
Mm-hmm.
where he's fighting. He's like going and fighting for the liberation of Fishmen, but he doesn't want to pollute that message with killing. So he
Yeah, like
draws
he
that
he
line.
has he has like a very active hand, like Malcolm X, but at the same time, he has that peaceful message where it's like, okay, if we go around killing people, that's kind of exactly what they want because it would prove them right.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, while we're at it, since we've gotten into the real life parallels here, Otohime is also very Martin Luther King, but I think something Oda did really intelligently is to muddy up our real life race issues and make the Fishman ones distinct. It's not quite the same. There is no clear parallel. It's a very different type of racism they face from the real life racism that we have in our world. But
Yeah.
you can draw certain parallels. It's just
And
nothing's
that
gonna be direct. And I think that's smart.
and yeah, and it also makes it more effective because it allows you to emphasize, it gives you a path to emphasize a character, and then allows you to emphasize more into real life of the people that are affected by it.
And I gotta
Damn.
say, like the conclusion that Oda comes to here is very good.
Mm-hmm.
In One Piece, just arc after arc surprises me, like how it's able to deal with some real ass world shit like this and
Yeah.
do it so well. And like, I don't know, there are some arcs where, not just Impelled Down, but also I remember distinctly moments in Skypiea where I was like, this is a manga that children read.
Yeah.
This is so terrible. And I'm like, but this is like a message that children need to hear, but it's also just so heartbreaking at the same time.
It's really cool because like Japan, they don't have to sugarcoat it as much as we do. Because like there's some violent shit. There's this panel where like Jimbei is holding up a marine and like his fist is all bloody, like he's been beating the shit out of that dude.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah,
like
because like
it's
if you showed
striking.
that if you showed that in an American cartoon, some mom would call the studio and be like, "You're promoting this," and it's like, "No, I'm not."
And I mean that
Swear
the
to God.
anime is a little bit censored, not too much in general, but like some stuff is censored. But that's like the power of manga is that like age gaps are a little bit wider, and I really
Yeah.
like that. I did notice when I was reading this. So we've met Strawberry before, but
Yeah, I was just about to
I
mention.
did not notice his fucking hat is on top of his hair. He's got
And it's
transformed gone hair, but he's got a
So-
hat up there.
it's not just his hair. So in a later panel, he gets like hit and he has that hair all bandaged.
Yeah.
And in an SBS, someone's like, "Hey, why did he bandage his hair?" And Oda's like, "No, that's the shape of his head." Like he actually has really short hair. That's just like the shape of his head. It's
Yeah.
like that's what like a buzz cut looks like on him.
Brilliant. Uh, and they're really stressed. So as we go into this flashback, we are given this. Jimbei is framing this flashback of like, who was right, Otohime or Fisher Tiger? It's the vibe I got as I was running into it, and like they both took this at different ways, but they both weren't able to complete their goal. Their goal is pretty similar. They do want that unification, but they went about it from two different ways. And JB is
Yeah.
just kind of reminiscing of like the teachings of both during this flashback and giving context to the history that the Fishmen faced. This is it's become one of my favorite I might like this more than any flashback we've covered in the story so far. Not emotion, like it's not as sad as the other ones, but I think it's just the most interesting that we've covered.
Yeah.
That is true. Like a lot of our other flashbacks are just like pure fucking tragedy with how sad they are. But
almost.
Mhm.
yeah, for real. But this is just like really interesting storytelling.
What's really cool about this flashback is that this is a flashback that gives us a bigger look into the One Piece world, and it's told through Jinbei's eyes, but it's not necessarily Jinbei's story. It kind of is, but
I see this as Jinbei's story. This is Jinbei's
Yeah.
flashback. Now,
But-
the key figure, there's two key figures that he keeps coming back through. But when you like when you are rereading One Piece, you're realizing, oh, this is like, and like once we get out of the flashback, Jinbei has some lines where it's like, oh, this was really about him, to me at least.
Mhm.
But I mean that's up for debate. I do like this line though, where it's like, Queen Otohime's dream is an idealistic dream. does she see me any different? Does she see any difference between me and Arlong? And I think that's pretty interesting because Arlong is spitting this rhetoric that makes us look at him in a much deeper light when we look back at Arlong Park. Like, I understand where he was coming from more and more when I read the shit that he has to go through, you know. Um, but the most interesting part is this part where he's like, "The thing I fear the most is the demon inside me,"
Mm-hmm.
and that's kind of foreshadowing his real feelings about humans that we get to see
Yeah.
later on in this arc. But moving on, we get introduced to Koala, who is a very important addition to this portion of the story. Um, Koala is a slave that Fisher Tiger released one day, or when he did his big release of Mirajois, but she
Mm-hmm.
hasn't been able to go back home. So the Sun Pirates take her in. And
Dude,
this is
if you
disturbing.
needed another reason to fucking hate the world government, look what they have done to this child where when she gets hit, her only reaction is like, I'm sorry, please don't kill me. And she smiles, I'll do whatever you want. And it's like, how many other people have had the experience this child has? Like, Boa, is that you?
Yeah, exactly. Like Boa hates men, and you can extrapolate from there. Like, and you see this, and you're like, oh, these people like they weren't just slaves; they were like mentally abused at every level as well. Like it's the utmost slavery you could get. It's so sickening. And just seeing like this conditioning is it's also important, like because seeing this is what softens up Arlong and Jimbei to Koala and the rest of the pirates, at least
Yeah.
enough to where she can sail with them. I do love throughout this flashback, you really get the sense that like Koala is part of the crew, but not everyone loves her. Like it's a little awkward to have her here, but like
Yeah.
they don't hate her either, which is really important. Like it's a human that they don't hate. Um,
Mhm.
Right.
yeah, it's just I had something else to say about Koala, but oh, so smiles are a big thing in One Piece. Like it's like the most iconic Luffy thing is his big smile and how when you're reading One Piece you want to smile. Like the story makes like even after the sad parts, you're not literally smiling, but you get that welling feeling of like this is just a feel time, good time read, right?
Yeah,
So I feel like a forced smile is Oda's way of saying like this is just about the cruelest thing you could do to someone.
for sure.
Uh, Fisher Tiger though just goes hardcore and brands her with the Sun Pirate emblem.
Mhm.
Yo, they got to jump her into the gang.
And he's like, "Stop this smiling bullshit. We're taking her back home, man, and she can finally cry." And like, what a good page, right?
I know,
Mhm.
dude.
Fisher Tiger is such a fucking G. And like this show your real emotion thing is also pretty prominent throughout One Piece. Like, for one, I'll bring up Nami, how she couldn't show her real emotions in the whole Arlong saga, how Robin couldn't show her real emotions to the Straw Hats. Here, Fisher Tiger is getting Koala to stop smiling to show her real emotions. So it's there.
Um, I have a question
Yes.
about this
Yes.
page. Is he doing Ogama karate?
Who?
I'll post it in our chat. The
Let's see.
Kaya's butler.
No, yes, like that is Bon Clay's stance, but I think that's just a defensive karate stance.
Okay.
Okay, this is the page I wanted to get to. Bradley was bringing up this whole thing where it's like, man, it just seems like Fishman and humans see the worst of each other. I think it's because they don't know anything. Is a really
Yeah.
important panel. Like, and Jimbei's literally asking, it's like, many humans seem to fear us. Is it because we're pirates? Is that why they're afraid of us? It's because they don't know anything. But really, what she's saying is like, this whole race issue is because you guys aren't taking the chance to really get to know one another.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and here's the tragic part where Fisher Tiger takes her back in. He gets fucking gangbanged, and he reveals the fact that he was a slave. Right after he went on his journey, he got captured, and he's been hiding it this whole time. Thoughts on this revelation?
it's like I already liked Fisher Tiger just because I thought he was badass, but like I don't know, this page added so much more depth and made me really like him because he recognizes that like the future generation of children needs to be better than him.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like even if he realizes what he's feeling is wrong, there's just like something guttural where he's like, I can't do it. Y'all can be better than me, but he's like, I can't do it. And it's just such. It's just really interesting.
It's so real. Like this is so raw, and I think that one of the best parts is like when he reveals that he was a slave. The five fishmen here reacting like it feels like their worldview has just been shattered at that moment. Everything that they believed in Fisher Tiger has been put to question, and this reveal that like he's been preaching these good things, and this is the demon inside of him. At the end of the day, he cannot love humans ever, so it's up to someone else to do it. It's like it's harsh, right? Like the fact that Jimbei and Hachi are able to be the kind of people that they are after witnessing the full story here just really speaks to their character even more, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Otohime's whole peaceful protest is also going poorly during the flashback, where it starts, but Fisher Tiger dies, and then she loses all momentum. And I really like her crying here. It really reminds me of Shirahoshi. Like, she's also a crybaby, but in a very different way. It's just cute to have that parent connection. I also like her drunk rampage she goes on, where she, like...
Yeah.
We need to actually take action. If you guys are just making excuses for not changing the status quo, which I think is a really good message as well.
Yeah.
And makes her a really endearing character to get drunk and just yell at her kingdom. I don't think I've ever seen a story where like the ruler gets drunk and then like goes out and like talks to everyone like this in this way.
And it's just like you can feel how fed up she is to get to this point because she's been so like obviously she is the kind of ruler who will go around and slap the shit out of her
it's a slap
people
of love
if they needed it. But she is still quite queenly most of the time, and this is just her being a person who's frustrated. She's just like, guys, are you fucking kidding me? We need this.
Yeah, and I really like she would go home and smile at her children and tell them everything's all right. But really, like, she's been pending, like, we've had a couple of pages of her decline in these, like, ballot notes that she's taking. And, like, it's just all exploding here. It's really good. Jimbei takes the job as a warlord at this point of the story. And it's really a political thing, right? I think that's the way to best interpret this.
Yeah.
But what it really does is also it allows the slaves to get pardoned. Like, the slaves that are in the Fishman Pirates now get pardoned and can go back and just live peacefully in Fishman Island. But then a celestial dragon arrives. Bradley, how did you think a celestial dragon arriving would play out here? Because I think it went quite a bit different than I expected.
Yeah, my initial thought is just celestial dragons ruin everything. So, like, any goodwill anybody had towards anybody is just going to get ruined.
Miraculously, for once, it actually turned out all right.
Yeah, I was amazed because, like, I thought, every flashback has its tragedy, and I was like, oh, the tragedy is going to be, she trusts the celestial dragon with her life, and then he kills her for it. And I was like, that gets flipped on its head, and it's just like, that's how good of a person Otohime was.
Yeah.
That a fucking celestial dragon, she's able to turn one of them.
She sacrifices herself, like, she goes out of her way to protect the celestial dragon, where the people rightfully should have killed this fucker. They're like, if we all keep quiet about this, no one's gonna know a thing. And everyone's like, yep, I'll keep quiet.
It's like, I ain't telling nobody.
But she's a woman of action, and I think the children are watching panel is like the definitive like Otohime panel for me.
Yeah.
We also,
and man, like, there's so many moments in this flashback where it's just like children are the future. It's like, sometimes for progress, you just gotta wait for the next generation to take care of it, because sometimes your generation's kind of fucked.
And we
And
also
that's
learn
one of those moments.
like the fact that Jimbei like has been in all of these events. Like Jimbei's the person who knew Otohime and Fisher Tiger, and I think that's what makes him special in his worldview. He got deeply acquainted with both, and he got to see the fall of both. And I think that's really interesting, and the defining moments of both of them. And you can see like he's flashing back to Fisher Tiger here, and he's really like, I feel like he's really questioning which side is right and how to approach the situation. But big lore dump here. Shirahoshi appears to be a special mermaid who can call the Sea Kings / Neptunians.
Yeah, holy shit. At this
point, which is a very scary power.
Yeah, because like at pretty much all levels of Marines and piracy, like unless you're one of the 4 emperors or with one of their crews, Neptunians are an obstacle for you.
Yeah, like there's the small Neptunians that like Zoro and Luffy take out, right? And like Momonga. Yeah. Like when Momonga was stranded in Kuja Island, he killed some Sea Kings for food. But then there's the giant fuckers that Shirahoshi summons that we've never seen anyone like do anything but run away from.
Yeah.
Because like that's at that point, like I don't know if any character can really handle a couple of those. So this makes for a very scary power.
Yeah.
And clearly also sets up a good like tension point where like, is this going to be relevant in the current timeline story arc? Potentially.
Mm-hmm. It also gets revealed that this is the actual reason why Vanderdecken ends up here.
Yeah. He actually marrying Shirahoshi is the secondary, like, that's how I'll control her. But really, he was looking for this mermaid princess power.
Mm-hmm. And it's like an ancestor thing, because that's why the first Vanderdecken got there too.
Yeah. Otohime leaves with the celestial dragon. And she's like, I will clean this up with the dragons. And the fucking mad lass actually does it. I couldn't believe this. Like, it went so smoothly.
Yeah, I was sitting here. I was like, she's dead. That's it. That's the last time we're going to see her.
Mm-hmm.
God, what a Chad. This is a Chad lady. Okay, they introduced this special treasure box called the Tamate box. It's a mysterious box, and he surmises that it could turn the little kid into a sexy young woman, which will swiftly move along from that. But this Tamate box is also a little nugget thrown into the story. We'll see how that turns out.
Yeah, that speech bubble where he says you could turn a tiny little kid into a sexy young woman. I remember screen capping that and sending it to you guys, and I'm like, Vanderdecken needs to fucking chill out.
Slime, just pure slime. What a good character design though, because look at him in the left here. Like, look at this one here. Like, he looks like
He's like, yeah.
So gross.
He's so grody.
We get the proper introduction to Shirahoshi's thing, and this makes it so the brothers know, like, they need to make sure Shirahoshi never has severe mental trauma, or it could just be the end of Fishman Island, period.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this is really interesting. This line in particular. Along with the special mermaid will come one who can guide her to use her power for good. And when that time comes, the world will change. That's what the legend says. Oda setting up some bullshit here. I tell you what.
Yeah.
Some deep threads are being sewn. And then Otohime dies. So.
God.
I like how sudden it is, and we don't get an explanation to what happened in this volume. But, like, she just gets shot, and it's a mad dash. And this is where Vanderdecken sneakily touches Shirahoshi, which I thought was a good... Because as I was rereading, I was like, how did you get a chance to touch Shirahoshi? And here it is. Back in the day, it was easier to just walk up to her.
Mm-hmm.
And this is this is where these doofuses come back around. Sunfish Mambo.
Yeah, and that's the moment where I'm like, oh my god, he does it because they didn't want her to cry. And I'm like, oh my god.
And Shikaboshi promises that he will fulfill her dream in one way or another. Mm-hmm. And she says, soon we'll look upon the real sun, and then dies. And it's really cute. They've been doing this little pinky thing that they've, like, that's like the little family bond that they keep doing. and they die as they do it. So that's real sad.
Fucking die.
That wraps up the volume, though. Bradley, where do you think the story is going from here? What are your thoughts on the arc so far?
Y'all, you know, something we've been going along with since the beginning of this, since the beginning of One Piece, and something that Oda himself said is that the big bad of each arc, it's not just about beating them physically, it's about like challenging and fighting their ideals. And I'm interested to see how Hody turns out at the end of this arc. I don't know if they're going to give him a change of heart. He might even double down, but at the very least, I think Fishman Island is going to be a very different place after Luffy leaves.
I think Luffy's the perfect character to tackle something like this because he's so blunt and straightforward, to where like if anyone's gonna cut through racial tensions, it's Straw Hat Luffy. He's the man for the job. I'm really enjoying Fishman Island reread so far. This flashback is definitely the highlight for me so far. And there's definitely some cool stuff to come. I think there's about 2 to 3 more volumes of this arc as well. Joe, you got anything?
So, do you think anyone's going to join the Straw Hat Pirates?
So, that's the thing, right? The cover of Volume 64, Willard gave it to me, and it's like, There's the only things on the volume cover are 9 Straw Hats and Jimbei. And it's not even like Jimbei off to the side either. It's like...
It's just dead ass.
It's just dead ass Jimbei in the Straw Hats, and so I'm like, is it Jimbei in the Straw Hats, or is it just the Straw Hats?
Makes you think. If that is the case, I would be an excited boy.
Hell yeah.
How would you feel about Jimbei joining the Straw Hats if that is the case?
I'd be down, and I'm sitting here like, he's not a warlord of the sea anymore. What else has he got to do? Sit around in this fucking forest?
Free agent, baby.
Free agent.
Who's gonna sign me on?
So that was a longer talk than usual, but there was a lot of content. I knew this one would
that
be
volume
longer
deserves
than
it.
Yeah.
It deserves it.
Flashbacks always go long. They're the most.
Now, it's just about the length of one of our old talks. So that just goes to show you that the new time-saving methods are at work. This would have been...
Fuck yeah.
This would have been a long talk. It averaged out to the length of what we used to do. Anywho, join us next time as we keep continuing on this underwater adventure in Fishman Island. Goodbye.